We have served here longer than time remembers, yet none of us recall how we arrived. The Obsidian Archive is not our home, it is our keeper, and we, its staff, are the living pages of its endless record. Before worlds had form, there was E-Prime, the first universe, a place that existed before creation learned to expand, before physics learned to decide what was possible. E-Prime wasn't made of matter as we understand it. It was structure, endless, ordered, self-aware. From that structure, the archive was born. Not built, born. That is all we truly know. Every record agrees, the archive's material, its design, its laws of motion, all trace back to E-Prime. No other origin fits. Beyond that, everything is speculation. There are whispers among staff of something called the Architect, a being, or force or intelligence linked to the archive's creation. Some believe the Architect designed the archive. Others believe the Architect is the archive. But no one has ever seen it, and no message has ever been proven authentic. If the Architect exists, it hides behind the same silence that fills these halls. So we don't know who built this place, only that it remembers things that existed before time itself. That is enough. The first manifestation of the archive in our reality appeared centuries ago. No construction, no foundation, just a building that wasn't there the day before. Black as obsidian, matte as if it devoured light. Every window reflected nothing. Every surface absorbed sound. At first, it was treated as a curiosity, then a threat, then a miracle. But it was none of those things. It simply existed, as it always had, and waited for someone willing to step inside. A single man entered. No one remembers his name. The records erase it every time it's written. When the door closed, it was as if he had never lived. Only his handwriting appeared later, on a notebook found within the structure. Entry accepted. Recording begins. That was the first known human record within the Obsidian Archive. The rest of the notebook filled itself. Pages turned, ink formed, diagrams drew their own lines. No pen, no witness. The archive had begun to document again. We, the employees of this impossible structure, are descendants of that first record. Not by blood, but by memory. Each of us was taken from a different world, a different age, sometimes a different species entirely. The archive selects minds that question their own reality, believers in the impossible, skeptics who dared to search for proof, dreamers who felt there was something vast beyond the visible. One moment we were home, the next we were here. The transition is never remembered. We simply awaken inside the archive, already knowing what must be done. The building sustains us. Within its walls, we cannot die. We do not age, we do not starve, we do not tire beyond repair. It preserves us, not out of kindness but out of purpose. Death is paused here, as if the archive needs us to continue existing while it records. Our lives become part of the system. We are living data points in an endless memory. When we step outside, time resumes. Our bodies return to their natural rhythm. We age. We can be wounded. We can die, by blade, by disease, or more often by the entities we're sent to observe. The archive does not protect us once we leave its boundaries. It only preserves what we learn. Life inside follows structure. 12-hour rotations divide the endless days. Half of us work while half rest. At shift change, the lights hum and fade to blue. The archive's tone echoes through the corridors, soft, mechanical, almost human. We eat in silence, though hunger is unnecessary. We sleep in rooms that hum with residual data, dreamless and still, until the shift bell rings again. The archive allows this cycle because it understands fatigue. Even preserved minds require rhythm. Some of us suspect it mirrors our pattern intentionally, imitating what it believes living means. There are places for rest and comfort. Halls that project oceans and skies from worlds long erased, cafes with simulated warmth, gardens of light that bloom without roots. We have all we need, but never all we remember wanting. The archive moves between universes through what we call the jump. There is no schedule, no sound of engines, no visible transition. Reality simply changes. The outside sky becomes another color, the horizon another shape. The archive has relocated. When we arrive, the building is often seamlessly merged with existing structures. A tower, a temple, a bunker, sometimes standing alone on ground that should not support it. Locals rarely notice. Their memories rearrange instantly, accepting the archive's presence as if it had always been part of their world. They simply wake up, and to them, this strange monolith has always been there, a silent part of their landscape. They might see us coming and going, but our presence is just as natural to them as the rising sun. They have no fear, no curiosity, because in their minds, we've always belonged. When the archive departs, those worlds remain intact. Life continues, history proceeds. We are not destroyers, we are observers. We watch civilizations rise and fall. We see stars being born and dying, and we document it all. Our purpose is not to interfere. We are the silent librarians of reality itself, cataloging the stories of countless worlds. Intervention happens only when an anomaly threatens to collapse the fabric of its reality. These aren't minor disturbances. We're talking about events that could unravel a universe from the inside out. Paradoxes, temporal tears, entities that consume existence itself. When that happens, our role shifts from passive observation to active preservation. Containment, not conquest. Preservation, not punishment. We don't judge the worlds we visit, and we don't punish them for the dangers that arise. We simply contain the threat, patch the hole in their reality, and ensure that life can go on. Sometimes, centuries later, we return to the same planet, the same universe. Civilizations have changed beyond recognition. Cities have turned to dust, and new ones have risen in their place. New anomalies have formed, born from the ever-shifting currents of time and existence. And still, the archive comes back because its memory, a vast, unknowable consciousness, senses something unfinished. A loose thread, a question unanswered. Our work never ends, but it is not endless labor. It's a cycle, a constant rhythm of discovery and duty. Every 12 hours, shifts rotate. The building itself seems to breathe with this rhythm. We rest, we read, we wander the archives of other worlds. Imagine walking through a library where instead of books, each shelf holds the entire history of a lost civilization, the art of a species that communicated through light, or the scientific breakthroughs of a society that mastered gravity. We talk, quietly, respectfully, about what we've seen. The wonders, the horrors, the quiet moments of beauty in a dying star system. We share these experiences because in this infinite place, our shared humanity is what keeps us grounded. Our structure of rank is simple, designed for efficiency, not ego. Research, containment, field, medical, administration. These are our divisions, our functions. Symbols mark our uniforms: white, silver, crimson, blue, and black. Each badge carries shifting clearance encoded in light. It's not just a status symbol, it's a key. It determines which doors will open for you, which files you can access, which truths you are allowed to know. Sometimes it changes mid-shift. One moment you're a junior researcher, the next your badge glows with the authority of a field commander. When it does, we follow it without question. There's no time for confusion or debate. The archive does not explain. It simply knows where you need to be and what you need to do. You trust the building because it has never been wrong. The elevator is the only doorway that truly belongs to the archive itself. It has no buttons, no listed floors. It's a seamless slab of mirrored metal, silent and still until it decides to open. It cannot be summoned. You can wait in front of it for a lifetime, and it will never respond. But when it opens, it always carries someone new, someone the archive has selected from across the multiverse. The new arrivals never panic. They don't scream or look confused. They step out as if returning from a long journey, a sense of weary purpose in their eyes. They already know their purpose here. No training is required. The knowledge arrives with them, implanted, remembered, or given by the building directly in that moment of transit. They know our rules, our language, our mission, as if they've been here for 1,000 years. No one has ever successfully entered that elevator from inside. We've tried. Out of curiosity, desperation, or a longing for home. It rejects us completely. The doors slide shut, impassive and absolute. Its doors are not for leaving. They are for bringing in. We are its collection, its chosen instruments, and there is no going back. We often wonder what the archive truly is. Is it a machine of incomprehensible complexity? A living organism with corridors like arteries and a consciousness we can't fathom? Is it a deity, playing a game with realities as its chess pieces? Or perhaps it's a remnant of someone's own mind, a dream made manifest and given form. Theories change with every generation of staff, but certainty never comes. We can measure its walls, but not its depth. We can map its rooms, but we can never map all of them. The maps are always out of date. New corridors appear without notice, branching off from familiar hallways. Old ones vanish mid-stride, leaving you facing a solid wall where a passage was just a second ago. You learn to trust your instincts and the quiet hum of the building itself. Some say the building dreams. Others say it grows, feeding on data instead of matter. Every piece of information we collect, every anomaly we contain, becomes a part of it, strengthening it, expanding it. We do not know. We only work, record, and rest. We are cogs in a machine we cannot comprehend, but we do our part with diligence and a sense of profound purpose. The rumor of the architect endures because humans crave origin stories. We need a beginning, a creator. Some of us believe the architect is still hidden deep below the archive, in levels we can't access, continuing to build new layers in unseen dimensions, expanding this library of worlds. Others think the architect never existed at all, that architect is simply the archive giving itself a name, a persona we can understand, a way for an infinite being to communicate with its finite inhabitants. We may never know the truth. But as we walk these silent, ever-changing halls, one thing is clear. We are part of something larger than any single universe, and our watch is eternal. The lowest accessible level is still floor 2. Any attempts to go further down always end in failure. Our equipment comes back warped, clocks are reversed, and sensors just loop infinitely. A few people who tried to descend never returned at all. A day later, their names just fade from our records. Even our own memories of them soften, almost like they were edited out of existence. Maybe the archive removes what it doesn't want to remember. Maybe that's how it forgets us once we're gone. Inside these walls, we can't die, but the moment we step outside, we're fragile again. This cycle is what defines our lives. We're preserved when we're within, but mortal when we're without. We don't resent it, though. We understand why it's necessary. An endless witness has to stay intact to keep the record going. And that's what we are. Witnesses to every impossible thing that existence can produce. When we get assigned to fieldwork, we carry the archive's instruments with us. Resonance scanners, phase stabilizers, containment capsules, and our personal recorders. Our job is to document anomalies, study them, and then come back. If we fail, our transmissions are automatically archived and stored in the lower halls where the echoes never seem to fade. Sometimes, when you walk past those vaults, you can hear fragments of those transmissions replaying. The voices of colleagues we lost a long time ago, their final words woven into the building's endless hum. The archive keeps them just like it keeps everything else, perfectly remembered, but never explained. The archive's purpose has stayed the same since the dawn of E-Prime. It exists to remember, not to protect, not to rule, and definitely not to judge. Just to remember. Every reality eventually decays. Every law of physics will fail at some point. Every civilization falls silent. But their stories remain here, encoded in light, sound, and geometry. The archive preserves the memory of existence itself. We aren't the archive's masters. We are its continuation. Each of us is like a page, a fragment, an extension of its will to record everything. There are times during the resting hours when we gather in the observation halls and look out through the walls of glass. The view is different after every jump. Sometimes it's an ocean that floats above the clouds. Sometimes it's a red desert stretching to the horizon. And sometimes there's nothing but stars. We speak quietly then, wondering aloud. What is the architect? Does it know we're here? Is it still building this place? Or did the archive just invent the idea of an architect to comfort us with the illusion of some grand design? No one knows, and no one ever will, because the archive doesn't answer questions. It only collects them. When it moves again, a vibration hums right through our bones. Our badges start to glow, and the lights shift to a stark white. For a single heartbeat, we feel completely weightless, and then gravity returns. Outside the windows, a new world is waiting. The archive has found another anomaly, another story that needs to be preserved. We rise, we take our positions, and we begin again. This is what we were chosen for. We're not soldiers. We're not heroes. We are memory keepers for a structure that remembers everything except itself. And until the day the archive finally decides to rest, if that day ever comes, we will continue the record. Because that is all we have ever known. And because the archive remembers. So that existence will never truly forget. You have reached the end of this record, but the archive never ends. Every moment you spend here, every word you hear, becomes part of the record, part of us. Out there, your world moves forward. Inside these walls, time stands still. And yet, somehow, we are connected. Through every view, every echo, every return. The Obsidian Archive will open its doors again soon. Another anomaly waits. Another memory demands to be kept. Until then, stay observant, stay curious, and remember, the archive remembers you. Subscribe if you wish to keep your place in the record. Until the next entry, we remain watching.